Alright, g'day everyone, welcome to the Promenade Cricket Club for the 40-year celebration of the 1982-1983 Promenade Green Premiership side. Fantastic to have you all here. Good to see a few new faces, haven't seen around the club for many, many years, and a few familiar ones as well. So thanks for joining us for the night. Just like to acknowledge some of the life members here tonight. I don't have to forget Paul Hewitt, so that's good he's not here. Ian Boyd, Harris Band, Robert Pike, Johnny Hall, Graham Murphy, Jimmy Boyd, Luke Reynolds. I think I've got everyone. Is that everyone?
Brian.
I was always going to forget something. Round of applause for those. We won't give too much of a wrap up about the day's cricket at Promenade today. Division 1 had a washout. 3 out of the 4 games were on turf, so the weather leading up today wasn't great. So Div 1 was washed out. Div 2 and Div 3 did the right thing, and no one really did anything worth mentioning, and probably didn't want to detract from anything from tonight. So well done, boys. Good job. The season so far, so Division 1 going well, sitting second on the ladder. Div 2 second, Richo, third? Second at the moment. Updated ladder might drop to third. And Div 3 are doing well with a good bunch of kids coming through there this season too. So ticking some boxes down there in the lower grade is doing a really good job too. So season's going along well there. The women are going well. Pombo Gold second on the ladder in the women's competition. Pombo Maroon down the bottom there. Holding them all up. Belinda doing very well. Someone has to do it, so that's all right. No chance of a repeat from last year's grand final efforts, but juniors are going really well as well. So few things just wanted to have a quick chat about. Probably the club's probably changed a lot since a lot of you were all here last. Not sure whether everyone sort of keeps up to date with what's happening, but it's been a lot of changes in the club probably in the last 7-8 years. So the club's currently got 3 senior men's teams, so playing across Southwest Cricket and Colac District Cricket Association. So in Southwest Cricket have 3 senior men's sides, an under 16 boys and 2 under 13 boys sides. And then in the Colac District Cricket Association, lucky enough to have managed to get women's cricket up at the cricket club as well. So 2 senior women's sides down in Colac. Under 17 girls to under 13 girls, an under 14 boys side as well, and that's it. It's hard to keep track of. And on top of all that off, we've got the Woolworths Blast here as well. So it's very busy. There's always cricket on here every night of the week at the moment, except for Monday nights. But yeah, it's good to see lots of people involved, and hopefully it continues for a few more years to come. Few other updates with the cricket club. So the ground's a lot different to what it was like when you guys were all here playing. No, look, the sheep on the ground at the off season was good. It worked. But look, in the last 5 years, so we've managed to put sprinklers on the ground, so pop-up sprinklers, as you can tell. No one can pinch those. No one can jump the fence and pinch the sprinklers anymore, which is fantastic. Someone's got a very good veggie patch out there somewhere. We've recently purchased 9.5, nearly 10 acres of land to the Colac side, which surrounds the existing rec reserve. So to the Colac side up there to Brendan Boyd's place, and then around the back of the reserve here as well too. So exciting times there. Hopefully we can develop that in the future and accommodate our ever-growing cricket club to have more than 3 games of cricket here on a weekend. Hopefully have up to 6 or 8 games over the weekend, which would be fantastic. So
get a rock crusher in.
We need a bit more than a rock crusher. What else have we got? We've gone pyjama cricket too. There's no more Whites nights. Rip looks disappointed in that. I reckon you would have been a big fan of the Whites night back in the day, Rip. Yeah, other than that, the club's going very well. So we're ticking along all right, but as always, there's always room for improvement. We're forever trying to improve and continue to be the best we can for the members in the community of the Pombo Cricket Club. So just touching on that, on the table, there is a little flyer there for our 12th Man Club, which is a group of people that are contributing to the club, I suppose, to make the club better and greater and continue it on its way and contribute to things like, new mowers and quick junior equipment, lots of things. There's prizes, money, raffles, $6 a week. I think it's worth the $6 a week just to watch the draw, the monthly draw. The entertainment's well worth it. So if anyone's interested, please just come up and have a chat to any of the executive members here tonight. So besides that, I won't stand up here and carry on too long. I don't think I had anything else on there. Heaps of hats and beanies up there for sale and a few stickers if anyone's interested, wants to take home a little memento. Other than that, thanks for coming. I'll hand the microphone over to Luke. Luke will run through the rest of the night. I'm sure some of the tales over the last 40 years have grown bigger and better. Hawley? 129 is probably 229 now. Thanks everyone once again for coming and enjoy the rest of the night. We'll, thank you.
Thank you, Dave, and great to have everyone here tonight to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the club's 17th senior premiership. So I bet it feels like yesterday for some of you and probably feels like 40 years for some others. But, what a game of cricket it was. A 200-run win to Pomboneet. That's a great game of cricket in my books. So well done to the green team. A very big win that day against Carpendeet. And poor old Carpendeet probably never really recovered and folded, sadly, about 6 years after that. So, bad luck to them. But we'll get each player up one by one and have a bit of a chat and talk about their career. So first of all, we're going to start with the youngest member of the team on the day. He was only 15. I think he was according to that video, he was the substitute fielder in the semi and wormed his way into the grand final team. So put your hands together for Pomboneet Green Premiership player, Phil Cross. So if you have a look at that premiership photo, he does look very youthful. And if I can get Benny just to stand up for 1 second, mate. They look exactly the same. There's no question about the parentage there. So Phil, you were just a bit of a fill-in player. You took 4 catches for the season, but made a valuable 5 not out. They only would have won by 196 runs if you didn't make that.
You're probably right there, Luke. Yeah, look, I was very lucky to be in that side, I suppose, as you say. Been a substitute the week before. And I reckon we discussed that earlier, I might have been filling in for Greg Hay maybe on the final. So, got a lucky break and I took it.
And now a premiership player forever.
That's exactly right, yes. Yes, probably the only one.
Yeah. So you went on to play a reasonable amount of cricket at Pomboneet, and now you sort of come back more with your family members. You've got Julie, your wife Julie is the club treasurer. She's done it for 5 or 6 years. If you ask Julie, she was the one who actually bought the oval, not the club.
I'll second that, yeah.
You've got children Sam playing Division 2, Ben playing Division 3 and under 16s, and Hannah has been a past senior women's player. So what does it feel to see the kids running around for the club that you were a Premiership player for?
Yeah, look, it's good to see the way the club's going with them, the kids doing their bit down here, yeah, and I've probably got a bit more interest now with them playing here again. So, yeah, and you look at the people that are here tonight and the way the club's gone, yeah, you're going ahead and leaps and bounds, but yeah, very successful club. Yeah, I'm real happy to see the kids doing well, so yeah, it's good. You're only missing one player, aren't you, from the family, so you've got to get her into a women's game, I reckon. you get a good crowd if you get her in.
Well, quite often we are short in that second women's team. We'll add Julie's name to the list. And what about, it's been probably 6 or 7 years since I reckon you filled in one game. The boys playing, any chance of running out alongside the boys one day?
You want to be real short, they will, but look, yeah, if the opportunity comes, I'd definitely go out and have a go with it, yeah. But we'll just see where it goes from here, I reckon. I'm happy to be a social member.
Fantastic. And just finally, being the youngest member of the team, do you remember much of the celebrations on the night and your role in that?
I think non-drinker then, I reckon. We can change that a little bit now.
Yes.
I think Brian was keeping me under his wing, so
So you couldn't celebrate that night, but you've been celebrating it ever since. Now, thank you, Phil. Please put your hands together for Property Green Premiership player, Phil Whitecross. Next up is a man who was known as a gutsy, brilliant fielder, very quick in the field. He took 11 catches in the Premiership season, averaged 11 with the bat for the season. Please put your hands together for Colin Beale. Yes, the Claw. What's that nickname from, Colin?
From cricket. The Claw.
And do you still get it?
Nah.
You do now, for the rest of the night. Who gave you that name?
Just the other side, I reckon. Yep. Yeah.
So a really big win that day. You played a key role in the field especially. Memories of the day and the night?
Nah, not really. No.
Not
really now.
And your time at the club, you played here for several years. Where else did you play during your career?
I played 1 year at Kuala. Yep. And that folded and I come in.
Fair enough, yeah. So, great to see all the other guys in the room tonight as well. Is there many here you haven't seen for a long time?
Oh yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen them. Yeah, some of them. Yeah.
No, well, thanks very much, Colin. And please put your hands together for Premiership player, Colin Beale. Next up is a man who, in the 1982-83 season, made 104 runs with a highest score of 34 not out. Please put your hands together for Premiership player Keith Turner. So Keith, played in a couple of premierships at Pombanite and started your career there in the early 70s.
Professional fill-in, mate. I wasn't quite up to your standard.
Now, as we know, if you become a fill-in, you play all the time, don't you?
I think I got about 3 premierships being a fill-in. It was a toss-up between Phil and I who got the number 11.
So you did play here for quite a reasonable amount of time though, Keith. Some great memories from being at the club, apart from the premierships.
The only contribution I made was to help Max build this thing.
And we needed you to make it bigger, Keith. We can't fit everyone in now, but it was a great job. And a boy from the Otways, did you play cricket before joining Pombanite?
Not really, not really. I went to Stoneyford and Pikey come and saw me.
Right.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, that was early in about 1973 or something.
Yep. What lured you with a brown paper bag?
I thought I'd see another 40 years, but here I am.
And great enjoyment from the premierships.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, it's been a bit of time over the years.
Yeah, yep.
So, yeah, any memories from the night, the celebration, and after the game?
No, not really. Who was it? Carpenter, wasn't it? Yeah. Hawley made all those runs.
Yeah.
We've dedicated 20 minutes for that later on. No, Keith, thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming along tonight. Please put your hands together. Keith Fulmer. And the next one was the man originally from Stonyford in the grand final. He took 3 for 12 from 12 overs. During the season, 23 wickets at an average of 9 and 166 runs. Please put your hands together for Premiership player Robert Pike.
Yeah, as fast as you go for first lift, the first
So Robert, joining Pomberneet from Stonyford, how long before you could show your face back in Stonyford? Leaving Stonyford, was that a big thing at the time, or?
I think it was quite a big thing for Stonyford players.
Yep.
But how we started out, I was approached by Brian Lloyd, and probably had, I think, about 15 or 16 players, saying something the same. And at that stage, my son was trying to turn lead, and he wasn't going to go on the side of it. So I said, we'll go and make another team in Pomberneet, which is a little more player to go next week. And the team were very satisfactory for me. Got a lot of new friends, and I said, I would say that without a doubt the best Woodland country club in Australia. And a lot of friends, I think, were really proud of I'm very proud of time here. I think for the premierships, I think.
Yes.
And I'm just going to tell one story. When the first game of cricket was a Sunday, and the other Sunday was going in the post office, and Brian's father just boiled the bowl and they came in the back to the store. And I popped the catch back to the first ball, and the minutes to drop it. And then I asked him to sit down and hit the first ball with my first round. And that, only went to a young kid. But I don't know how the story was. When we were 99 for the first time, there was a play of distance. 99. I'd like to say thank you to all the ladies that helped me coach so well. The office teams over here have been phenomenal. I've been very happy part of my life, and I'd like to say how much I've appreciated the help I've had at home from Raina and Ron. Let me mind this note, I'd like to say thank you to Don for, I think, being the business bushman correspondent in the paper. And his work as an umpire makes me do I'm talking to myself.
No, keep going. This is great.
I think my claim to fame in the grand final was I had to catch on to the long, probably the second longest of any player on the team. Unfortunately, the single was spending that with I think probably had a team that had all positions covered well. We had the best keeper in the comp, and 2 opening bowlers, and the left arm tweaker, and right arm centre, and Kevin Neal. Kane Fusion, as you heard that, Colin Neal and Keith Turner. South Kent, the Flanders. You asked me a question like that?
Yep, no, that was it. Yeah, no, and yeah, it's played in some very strong teams with some very good cricketers over your time at Pomonate as well.
There have been some strong teams. I think the strength of the team was there's no backbiting, there's a friendship between all the players. So we all want to put in their best efforts every time we play. I understood about best efforts. I was a bit slow in the third, I used to fill in the slips. And Ken and Neil, might have been really quick, but not much. The little slips. But Jim Boyd used to put in the back, and he was 3 times as fast as him, let's get together. And then the ball got slipped from the slips. We used to like to get Jimmy young pitch the ball. I think that's in the holidays fishing. And in that situation, we were playing South Colour, very long boundaries, and someone slipped the ball, but Ken looked in there, I looked at Ken. Finally, they were down there, they probably been 5 on it.
Yeah, not many would have ran that many.
Well, I said, we do it. But I didn't remember, and South Colour, my wife Mona was playing tennis while I was playing cricket. But cricket, tennis didn't start till 1 o'clock. So I didn't watch me playing cricket, I thought. And I took the best catch of my life. About 3 yards up to go above him. And I received congratulations, and she said, "Have a nosy book." Because he missed it.
He missed it, yeah, okay.
While I'm here, I'd like to say thank you to all the boys and girls that have got back their club as good as they have. They should be very proud. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Premiership player, life member, Rob White. The next player is a man who made 385 runs at an average of 35 in the 82-83 season, plus took 8 wickets at 18. Jimmy Boyd. So Jim, 40 years, does it feel like yesterday or does it feel like 40 years?
Yeah, haven't aged at all.
Haven't aged. And would the 82-83 team be one of the stronger teams perhaps you played in your time?
Yeah, no, probably I had one good, well, right the way through, they had 2 good sides or 1 good side, and they were pretty competitive right the way through. You know, it was a good side, but yeah, Brian side beat Stonyford down here, and that was a bloody strong side. Just, you know, had Melga, Kenny and O'Neill and Neville Boyd and these sort of blokes in it. Yeah, just like Colin all. That was a good side.
Yep.
Yeah.
So playing Carpendeet in the grand final, you probably would have had a few South Parramatta footy mates. What was the rivalry between Pomonate and Carpendeet like back in the day? For those of us here who don't remember Carpendeet.
No, I sort of don't know there's a lot of rivalry there. There's all probably Pomonate and Coelum and Carpendeet. I mean, yeah, no one sort of likes picking Coelum more than Pomonate, and vice versa. Yeah, but it was always a good game. But Carpendeet, they were pretty much the same Pomonate. They were farmers and they're playing cricket, and yeah, they had a couple of good players when they were there. They sort of into their work. You had Tony Jones and Phil Old Swamp Fox. They sent him out to open and fullback. He'd be black from here to here every week. Very seldom hit the bat.
Yep.
I think going back, Ken O'Neill always reminded me when Kenny Boyd was bowling, he'd be halfway down, he'd run up and Fox was starting to scream already. Kenny just always be able to nail him like Clary did the Boys.
Ken gets to say, oh, I remember bloody Foxy yelling before Kenny and Nick were all going. He knew it was coming. Yeah.
And the celebrations that night, do you have memories of that? And like I know nowadays we just come back here if we're lucky enough to win a premiership and sort of don't leave here. But what did you guys do back in the day?
Well, we didn't really have a lot now, because those days we went home and bloody looked at the cows after we finished cricket. You know, by the time the novelty had worn off a bit. And, oh well, I dare say they would have been. There was Ken was captain, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know if we did a hell of a lot. Yeah. Quite lads.
Yep. And we've got Belinda here as well. She's got a bit of a hamstring issue at the moment. Do you have any advice for Belinda?
Yeah, no, I keep well away from their cricketing. No worse. Young bloke today made 34, which is probably his top score, young Luke.
Yep.
And got a wicket, so he had a good day. And Dan was playing down in Chelsea. And yeah, I think she's seen the light. She's given the game away at the moment. Yeah, she might take up coaching, perhaps. But no, it was good to see her. You know, she got a flag last year, and it's just a pity it took so long to get the women involved in the cricket. You know, say Belinda was 40 when she started.
31.
Yeah, but a lot of those ladies have proven themselves to be able to play cricket. I know the one over here that would have loved to play cricket, wouldn't you, Barb?
Oh, in a previous lifetime.
But yeah, no, it's good to see the women supporting the club like they have in their sides, and they get together, and it's also nice that when they're out there playing, they see what we do is not that bloody easy, you know. They're full about advert, when you come home on a Saturday night, oh, what did you do this, what did you do that, and you see them trying to do the same thing. It's a bit of a gap there.
Yeah.
We find enjoy a bit. Yeah.
And just we touched on the fielding with like Bealey and Keith and that before, but yourself, you're well regarded as one of the great fielders at the club. Was fielding a feature of that team in 82, 83?
Oh yeah, we you know, most of the side prided itself. You get right down at Keithy's Hannah there, not much gets past Keith, and it's cold with the old jaws going all the time. You know, guys, there'd be no misfield out here. You guys got it that bloody easy. Yeah. I'd like to see you at the Stanesville ground or the Koala ground or Pommereek before it started. You'd come on black and blue. Yeah, you run in the dresses. But at the same time, I must congratulate David and the groundsmen. What a great job they've done. You know, when you drive past, and it's a pleasure to drive past, and it's a pleasure to say you've got to play. We had people on holidays lately, and she said, oh, she goes to Camperdown to teach, and she said, oh, there's a little ground on the way to Camperdown, and she knew. I said, well, that's where we play our cricket, and she said, oh, what a great little ground. Wasn't she, you know, us from the river, you know. But she just drove past, and she said, what a great little ground. So the current players and committee, I congratulate you on the effort you've done.
Thank you very much, Jim, and congratulations again on that wonderful flag win. 400 gamer, life member, legend of the club, Jim Boyd. Next up, we have the first of one of the two opening bowlers in the grand final. He took 1 for 25 off 12 overs, and during the course of the 82-83 season, 19 wickets at an average of 18.58. Please put your hands together for Premiership player Rod Swain. Can you believe 40 years, Rod?
No, actually when Brian rang me a few weeks ago, he said we're having a 40-year reunion, and I sort of stuttered and I thought it can't be 40 years, but when I thought about it, it is. Yeah, 12 quickly there. Yeah, no, it's been good, and thank you to the club for putting it on. It's been fantastic. Yeah, it's great.
So, speaking to you earlier, you don't have a lot of memories of probably of the day or the night?
Not a lot of memories. I do remember John Ball wanting his photo with 129. Yeah. But during the game, I actually don't have a lot of memories, but obviously we won, and that's, for me, that was very important. I like to win, obviously. Yeah, so probably during the year I had good memories of Ken O'Neill being a wonderful captain. I think he's the best captain I ever played under. Because I was, Philip when I was young, I was the youngest in the team, he nurtured everybody. It wasn't if you were young or older in the middle. He respected everyone and what they could do and encouraged everyone to win, but it was always have fun along the way, and I think that's what made our team so good that year. So, yeah, that's some of the fond memories of the year, but during the day itself, I probably was disappointed. I only got 1 wicket, which, my personal thing, I always strive to get more wickets, but Bruce, I think, on the day, he got 5.
Yes.
Yeah, so, maybe it was my good bowling that, held up one end.
It's often the case, isn't it? They get the benefits.
He got all the credit, I did all up. No, it was good to have the win, and to win that was very special.
And to be entrusted with the new ball at such a young age, when you had like a Brian Boyd, who was a great new ball bowler for many years, that must have been a thrill as a youngster to get that role.
It was, but it was always a little bit scary, because if I didn't get it right, it was, always that pressure that Brian wanted the ball.
Start warming up.
Now the road, he was trying to hang up the ball. So, but it was good. Brian was always very supportive of me as well. So, yeah. But it was really good that the encouragement I was given as a young lad to get the new ball was, very good. And I think that's through the club now that you've got juniors and encouraging people to give them that opportunity. So, yeah, it was really good.
And so then you went on to play a few more years at Pombanite. I think you had a break from the game. You came back to Pombanite for a year or two in the late 90s. And then where did your cricket journey take you after that?
Yeah, well, I had a break because I injured my knee really badly. I couldn't play, unfortunately. So, yeah, then I bought my own farm, and then I played for Warrior for a couple of years, and then I filled in for Dragulac 1 year. And then I went on to coach. I coached a lot of junior cricket, which I really enjoyed doing. And yeah, it was I probably got more pleasure out of coaching actually than playing, which when I was 16, when I won the Premiership, I took it for granted, actually. I'll admit that, because I thought, oh, well, I'm only 16, I'll get plenty more opportunities, and unfortunately I didn't. So, yeah, but I really enjoyed coaching, and yeah, it's probably stemmed from what I said about Ken. He encouraged me, and the way he encouraged everyone, and play to win, but you play to enjoy it as long as way, and that's the way I try to coach. And, yeah, that's my fond memories.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm still very proud to be part of the club, and yeah, everyone says, oh, where did you play? And I always say, Pombanite.
That was fantastic. Yeah. And your two boys have played all their cricket at Illawarra?
Yes, Illawarra, yes, yep. And I coached there, and yeah, I was lucky to coach there, and yeah, I was lucky to coach I was asked to coach in Geelong, in interleague teams in Geelong as well. Yeah, but yeah, they're having a year off unfortunately this year, both of them. But yeah, Thomas he actually trained for the Rockets down in Geelong. Yeah, he's probably the better of the two.
Okay, yeah. They're very welcome at Pombanite at any stage.
I'll tell them that. I don't think they're going to travel. I will tell them.
Thanks very much for coming along tonight, Rod. Please put your hands together for Premiership player, Rod Swain. Next up, we've got the other opening bowler. And have a listen to these figures in the grand final. 19 overs, 7 maidens, 5 for 22. And he probably missed the player of the match medal because Hawley made a ton. But please put your hands together for Bruce Roberts. So Bruce, a 5 in a grand final. Doesn't get much better than that.
A bit lucky though, it was Rod's excellent bowling. Brian Boyd said the other night, just an average cricketer that had a lucky day.
I don't know about an average cricketer when you listen to these season stats. 31 wickets at 11.42. That's a fair season with the ball.
Oh, I tried hard. I don't know, I don't remember those numbers actually. Never seemed like that many.
Yeah.
I suppose you got 2 or 3 each week, and they all add up.
They do.
But, I was probably a bit lucky. Ken gave us the opportunity to open the bowling, and I didn't like to let the ball go. Actually, you're right about Brian holding up in the back. And Jimmy, I think I'm only going to get a couple of overs.
Hang on, someone else.
good, but it was good pressure to have as well. Yep.
So before you played at Pomonique, can you sort of tell us about your cricket journey before you arrived here?
Simpson for a few years, played at Nestles in Warrnambool for a couple of years, and then went to Borken and played out there, and I didn't enjoy it particularly. And
We don't enjoy going there either.
I just had a bit of running on the final one day. Anyway, so I wasn't playing the next year, and I just did set a duty up. I think we were still in bed on a Saturday morning, and the door, there's someone knocking at the door, and it was King Boy saying, "You know, do you want a game of cricket this week? We're desperate." And so I ended up playing out here because we were living in Canada. So it was Ken that actually dragged me out.
Oh, right, yeah. And then you played for a while here, a couple of premierships?
No, only the one.
Only the one?
Yep. Oh, we moved to Colac and ended up playing with, they called themselves Tomahawk Creek, but they played at the South Colac ground, so I had a couple of years with them, but I generally didn't start playing till after Christmas, so we had about 2 or 3 kids by then. A bit hard to fit it all in with long hours at work and trying to fit work and cricket and travel. And it's a bit like you said, what were the celebrations like on the Saturday night? Well, I think all the farmers went home and milked, and I think we had 1 or 2 kids. You were expected home, you weren't allowed to go to the pub. But I can remember anyway. Yep.
And any other cricketing involvement after that, or was that sort of it for you then?
I gave up when I was about 30 and kids and work. No, and our youngest played for quite a while at Colac, and we sort of followed him around and worked just involved in Colac as an umpire or team manager and sort of stuff. Not in a big way. He was the only one that got into cricket out of all the kids. Yeah.
And I've got on very good authority, you hit a really good golf ball these days. How'd you go today?
No, it was too windy, so I didn't play. Well, I was supposed to play in Port Fairy, and I rang my mate yesterday and said, I don't play well in the wind. It was supposed to be 37 knots. I think it's 37 knots today. And kilometres an hour, one of the other. And I said, no, not for me. So I looked up the little app to see what Colac's wind was going to be, and it was about 35 as well, so I said, no. I won't play. No, but Dino's been telling you rubbish, has he?
No, you reckon you go all right?
No, Dean's better go off with an eye.
Thanks very much for joining us tonight, Bruce. And
Sorry, and I'd like to reiterate what everybody else has said about how good the conditions are, and what a great group of people you've got running this show, and getting that amount of teams out on the ground each week. Phenomenal effort. Well done. You all deserve to be congratulated for that. It's not an accident that you have this sort of success, and even to get this number of people here of an evening like this, it's pretty impressive. So well done. Good job.
Please put your hands together. 5 for 22 in the grand final. Bruce Roberts. Next up, we also have another star performer from the grand final. He made 80. Please put your hands together for Anton Boyd. So Anton, 80 in the grand final. LBW.
Yeah, I was filthy on it. Welcome, Robert. Dark as. Yeah, we've done a great job. Paulie and Ken and before it, and well, we won for over 200. The second was your fella, and I was thinking, well, this is a chance to get 100 in the grand final. But it didn't happen. He tucked himself up and put the finger up the wall. Wasn't real happy at all, but
We never forget him, do we?
that day.
But you had a fair season too, Anton. 603 runs at an average of 37.69. That great season.
Yeah, it was a pretty good season. We had a pretty good team. It was great. Bunch, just talking about, I was talking to Robert earlier, Bruce I haven't caught up with yet. A few others, but
And started as a teenager in around, I think, 1973, 74.
well,
Around
the
that.
teenager was 12.
12. And started out as a leg spinner.
Our leg's been over the first season. I remember getting, we made the semi-final the first year. Like, if I look at this and it's great, but we got two teams to keep the association really basically going and the club going.
Yep.
And it's built from there, which is great. Sorry for the voice, but
So, and look, you put a lot of work into the club over the years. You've held the role as president, secretary, premiership captain,
president,
not president, just secretary, premiership captain.
captain,
Yep.
coach, bit everything,
Yeah.
basically.
So why'd you go away then?
Work, yeah, work, basically. And I was thinking of staying here, and I thought, I'd been playing for, 15 years here, I think, 26, probably I left. And I thought, good mate in Warrnambool, and I thought I'd do the same and build a club there, which we have basically did them.
Yep.
So, Russell's Creek.
And still involved at Russell's Creek at all?
No,
And any cricket involvement these days?
no, thank God. No, Harry, my son, was a really good tennis player. So, did a lot of, basically all summers for, how long, Harry? 10 years?
Yep.
All over Victoria, which was good. He was a good tennis player.
And those mid-80s premiership teams you played in 82, 83 and I think 84, 85?
2 years later,
Yep, yep. Were they as good a teams you played in your career, or did you play in teams at Russell's Creek that matched that?
Probably this one and the next one were bloody good too.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was, we dominated that year, this year. And the next one we were probably matched a bit by the Creek. But we were good enough on the day Jimmy played a top hand, but I can't remember during the season or the semis or till I saw that today.
Yep.
We just aimed for one thing, final. And it was a long time ago. And I love Robert, that was great. Yeah, and that was, we had very different personalities in the side. Just looking at Bruce, Robert was always first slip, and sometimes the smoke, there'd be a little hint of cigarette smoke come out. We had Ken that kept it all together. We had Brian, we were talking about was the grand final about 10 years earlier, where Brian lifted just before stumps and took 3 wickets, or 2 or 3 wickets. It was Praddy, it was Jimmy, great fielders, Keith, Cole, yeah, and they were the ones that people forget about, but they were the guys that, that without them we wouldn't have won any.
Yep.
Simple as that.
And another story I've heard quite a lot of times, I don't know whether you can confirm this or not, but you've been credited with introducing a beer fridge to the Pomone Cricket Club. Is that
Oh, I think I'll probably take the blame, but I think it was Ken.
and there's
It used to be only lemonade when I was, and then when I got to about 18, we decided that, well, everywhere we went with Timbo, and they always had cans there, so we thought, well, we better help out and make them feel at home when they came here. So I was looking for the old fridge tonight, actually.
Blue Bay, $1 a can, wasn't it?
$1 a can, but the best part about that, I was also thinking we had soft drink, only pairs, and we never made a profit. But as soon as we got CUB, we made a profit and never got paid. Because people would buy, I'll grab a can and we'll pay for it later, but no one did. But it was, if it was a beer can, everyone paid their $1, and that was, and we made probably more money out of that than anything. I was actually came here today and I was looking for the little shed. It was great. It wasn't here. And I was trying to work out where it was back there. You were saying with the concrete slab, but yeah, like I came when it was basic.
Yep.
And the people were great though, and that was the thing. We won 4 premierships in my time here, and I don't think we had, well, probably this one was the best side. Creek were pretty hard to beat, but we didn't even get to play them in the final, so but we had, not the strongest teams, but we always performed. We had a great time during the year.
Yeah.
And then we always aimed to get to finals. And that was our goal. It was still the number one goal when we first started. It was, you know, we had to make the final. It doesn't make it how we get there as long as we get there. And once we got there, we were usually pretty competitive. Except one year we made 30. That was a shocker. And we actually, that was against Koala, I reckon. Well, I can't remember who was in that side, but yeah, 30. We couldn't
Andrew
believe it.
Harvick and Ron Jones.
Yeah. Andrew Harvick knocked over the off stump of the story. And I made 90 and 100 against them during the year, but they just cleaned us up in the grand final. It was the only time I actually walked into a grand final super confident.
Yeah, right.
And it was devastating. But, we had great players and great personalities. They're all bloody different. They're all strange and we're all... I was a keeper and I had to try and keep it sensible. Ken was a great job. He kept everyone, somehow pulled it together. And that was the difference.
And, you were named in the club's Team of the Century back in 2005. What a magnificent honour that must have been, and something you look back on with a lot of fondness, no doubt.
Oh yeah. Yeah, probably ashamed to do that.
A great career, Anton, and yeah, great season again. 603 runs. Put your hands together for Premiership player. Okay, I know he's chirping at the bit to get up here. 129 in the grand final. Put your hands together for John Hall.
You're getting a bit carried away.
So, John, your first century in such a big game too.
It was.
Do you remember it well?
I do. I'd never played cricket till I moved down here onto the farm in, I think about 1975. I think I'd been a tennis player. And I can remember Anton's mother and Barb trying to get us down to play tennis down here at the tennis court. And not quite my thing now, so the cricket club was more. So started playing cricket, so started from scratch when I don't know how old I'd be. I'd probably be, well, I could work it out I suppose. I was born in 1951, you can tell me how old I was.
24.
Yeah, something like that. So and I never had a great lot of ability. I used to be determined, I think, and try hard. Never had many big scores. I had a few 20s and 30s were my thing, and then occasionally you get a 50. To get a good score on the grand final is pretty thrilling. Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that. And the recollections of the day are fairly vague. But I do remember. Kenny and I went to open the batting, and Ken always used to take strike, and he always used to love hitting the bowl right back over his head or over the cover. Did you get on top of the bastards? I said, well, that's fine, Kenny, I'll just scratch around and get the ones and twos and give you the strike. And I forget what the part, we might have got 30 or something or 40. And I was just scratching around, and then Anton came in, and Anton was a good bat. He had everything together. I had a little bit of luck, I suppose, and the other thing I remember was Brian Newcomb, who was the opening bowler for Carpenterre. And he was a good fella and a good bowler, but he didn't like batsmen. And anyway, I snipped a few and put a couple over gully, and he was getting wilder and wilder, and the balls were getting faster and shorter. And I go left, right and centre, and I just really did his head in that day. He couldn't handle me at all. But I think he ended up, he got a bag of wickets in the end, I think. But, yeah, so that's probably the big memory. Ken O'Neill batting and Anton's really good innings. He was a classy batsman. I was just a scrub. So that's my memories pretty much of that innings. I was pretty pleased with it. It was the win, as Anton said, he played it with a flag. And, I think I played in 2. And yeah, that's definitely highlights of the career. Yeah, so that's my recollections, Luke. Yeah.
And you obviously had a fantastic season as well. 502 runs at 33.46 and 9 wickets at 9. So
Yeah.
It's a pretty strong contribution.
Yeah, I didn't think I would have had that many runs, to be quite honest. It might have been an exceptional year, I don't know how many I got over the career, but yeah, no, it was a good year. Well, everyone contributes, you know, from as others have said, you know, everyone's got to contribute. It's a team game, you know, it's an individual game to a certain extent, but if you haven't got a good team, you're not in the hunt. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's good. Yeah.
And yeah, that night, you know, you weren't one of the ones going back to
No, I
milk
didn't
cows
have
or
milk
anything.
cows,
So
I don't think we weren't big drinkers. We probably had a few beers after the game and all tooted back home to families and calving cows or something. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, no, there was no big booze ups. Not like nowadays. Yeah.
and obviously you moved away now, but
Yeah.
was this the first time back today for a while?
First time here. I've been past a few times. Don't get back to Camberdown much now. I live on the Ballerine. Always admire the grounds and the facilities, and to come in here today and just see what you've done and how you run it. It's a credit to you. Just reiterate what everyone else said. You know, it's fantastic. Really successful club. Yep. We thought we were the, you know, when we retired and the club's probably going to, you know, maybe not survive, and then you young blokes will come along, and well, I call you young blokes now, but you're not.
Keep calling us that.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. It's a real credit to you. Thrilled to still be involved. Used to get my money every year. Yeah. The other thing I remember you talk about, I have two boys, and it was only once we ever batted together, and we all made ducks. So that will have to go in the record book somewhere. I don't know if that's a fact.
I recall the photo of you holding the numbers 1, 2 and 9 after this, but I haven't seen the one with you and the boys with the 3 zeros.
No, that was Barbara's fault. That she chased me around with the numbers.
Absolutely.
You did.
You shook and carried on till I said, shut up and stand up. And
Exactly what happened.
oh, carried on like a 2-year-old.
And we've only talked about your batting, but you were a very successul bowler for many years as well with your,
Oh, look,
what did you call them, left arm tweakers or in-swings?
Dippers. Left hand runs. No, it was just steady, 3 or 4 paces, and yeah, cricket's a pretty simple game. It's dot balls. If you try and tie an end down like Swaney did and made it easy for Bruce at the other end, trying to score runs off him. Yeah, no, it's a pretty simple game, cricket. Yeah, so yeah, I used to swing the ball occasionally. Never bowled until I come down here. Old Jim Parsons told me how they showed me how to hold the ball. And Brian probably refined it a bit, and yeah, no, enjoyed bowling. It was good. Yeah, so that was nothing flash, nothing fast.
Well, a fantastic career, over 300 games for the club despite not starting until 24. He's a life member, one of the legends and a Premiership player. Please put your hands together for John Hall. Audio next
I
up.
remember the other thing, we all used to smoke.
This is smoke.
And I can remember batting with this bloke one day, and we'd had drinks, and come back out, we'd batted for an over 2, and there was smoke coming out of his pad. Somehow you rolling got down in the front pad, so we had to stop and take the pads off, didn't we, Ron?
I heard that was because he ran so fast. Not because of smoking.
In the grand final, but it's just something that I do remember.
Okay, next up he didn't get the ball as early as he no doubt would have liked, but 6 overs, 4 maidens, none for 5, and 22 wickets at an average of 10 for the season, with 168 runs at an average of 33.6. Premiership player, put your hands together, Brian Boyd.
Can I hang it on a few? That bloke for a start.
So you can only get 6 overs in the grand final, Brian.
Well, Bruce Roberts, when he gets the ball, you don't get it off him. His run up is that long. Bally and Pikey roll of smoke. But no, handy big time player. Handy pick up. And he's a good friend of O'Neill's, which meant Ken being captain, look after your mates. A few spin-offs, I think.
So So, yeah, look, a great career. Obviously, the club games record holder, leading wicket taker of all time, a true legend here, and let alone his batting feats. But how does this 82-83, like you captained the 1969-70 flag, played in other flags, how does this one rate amongst all those?
Yeah. Well, as everyone has said, we had a good side for 4 or 5 years, but playing with Ken O'Neill, sorry.
No, you're right, take your time.
Yeah, I think that the 1969-70 Premiership was one of the early ones. Irrawullaby had won 7, I think, in a row. Paul Theodore was nominated captain for first year. It was my first year as a captain here. Irrawullaby won the toss and they sent Pombo in. Irrawullaby, the old ones, would never do that. They put runs on the board. We put a score on and we beat them. And I think to me that's one of the better grand finals because Irrawullaby had held the mantle for so long. But yeah, just captains. Ken was easily the best captain for all the same reasons that these men have said. Hawley, one of the most underrated cricketers the club has had. He bowled. If Hawley was playing today's cricket, he would be opening the bowling because he bowled off stump, top of the off stump, ball after ball. And this bloke here would be first change because he bowled stump to stump. And you had to play or judge, what balls to hit. Yeah, you got a question?
So you were obviously one of the ones who had to go and milk the cows that night?
Yeah, but I can't understand these because I got home I'm a non-drinker and I got home at 12:30 from the O'Neill household. So I don't know.
And yeah, you said you wanted to pay out on a few tonight. Will I just give you the microphone, or do we want to run through?
No, we might draw it at that.
Draw it at that.
Yeah. But no, I've enjoyed my time. And David Smith, who was in our Premiership 69-70, came back here last weekend. He met a few players, and I think you have a message from David which you can read out at some stage.
So yeah, David Smith, as Brian said, a member of the 1969-70 Premiership team. He was a school teacher at Weirite at the time, and this was his quote: "On visiting the ground and club rooms with Brian and Sue last weekend, we were overwhelmed with the conditions of the ground and surrounds, the club rooms with the past and present history being recognised. Congratulations to the present and past committees, a district gem. Well done to David, Luke and staff." So,
Yeah.
thank you to David.
That just endorses what everyone else has said, but you are a real credit to the district. Yeah. So, well done.
Thank you, Brian.
Another question? How's Collingwood?
We'll win it this year. No, just to see what the club is now. You've probably spent more time here than maybe anyone in its history. You're obviously a regular viewer here. Do you still enjoy coming to watch as much as ever now?
Yep, I do, because we've got another generation coming on, but seeing the females playing as well, and I think they're telling or showing in all levels of cricket. I think they're showing that they're up to it and they're enjoyable to watch. Perhaps their ambitions and aims aren't as high as some of the male cricketers, but I think they give a good value for money in their selection of bowling, their selection of shots. I quite enjoy the ladies playing. And then all these kids that are running around, the next prodigy, I supplied with 4 boys. My dad got 8 premierships, I think. I got 2. I had 4 boys and never got 1. So I'm looking for the next generation.
Yeah, they're hard to win.
They're hard to win.
And now we're using white balls. You're a great bowler for many years. How would you have gone with a white pill?
I wouldn't use it.
Wouldn't use it?
No, I don't know. I was talking to someone there before and they said that it doesn't move as much. And if the ball doesn't move much, well, it's no good to me. I wouldn't be able to line anyone up. And Eric, we saw Eric up there. Well, he's probably one of the better batsmen we've seen over the years. He valued his wicket. And I would think I bowled more balls to Eric than anyone else. And the one match there, I bowled a short one, naturally. We bowled short and down the leg side too, you know. So
Don't believe you. That's not what I've been told.
But I bowled short. He hit me into the Euro Willoughby tennis courts. And the typical boarder made a little comment. And he said, "You bowl that shit again, I'll hit it there every time." Yeah, I don't know. That's what happens. Yeah, I've had a lot of opportunities. Played a lot of cricket, a lot of country league cricket. But this is home.
Yep.
And it's home because of the office bearers, the staff, and your general players. So I can only say what we see tonight is congratulations to the past and the present committee.
No, well, that's a great note to finish on, Brian.
Thank you.
You're home. Yes. Brian Boyd, probably the greatest legend of the club. Well done, Brian. And finally, our captain, the great Ken O'Neill, 34 and 1 for 14 in the grand final. But a measure of his greatness in a premiership year, 728 runs at 48.53 and 37 wickets at 9.57. An absolutely outstanding year. And if she'll come up, I'd like to have a quick chat to Barb. So put your hands together for Barb. So you couldn't kick Brian out till 12:30 in the morning, is that true?
Sounds like it. Yeah. From what there was a year that we all gathered in our shed at home, so that's possibly the celebration of the premiership.
Yep.
Yeah. Penny might remember.
I remember Dad sleeping in the shed.
So obviously, you know, a lot of success during Ken's time, so there would have been many great celebrations over the years.
Yes. Yeah, no, there were. He really enjoyed his cricket and just being with the team and being part of the Pomonee community here and with the cricket club. Yeah.
And obviously his captaincy held in high regard, but what a super player, going by those figures too.
Yeah, no, he really enjoyed that game. And nurturing the young players, as we've heard tonight, that was a lot of what he liked to be doing as well.
Yep. And I know it meant a lot in later years with Steve coming back here and playing in 2 premierships. I know that made Ken very happy.
It did, yeah. And you get a chance to play with Steve as well. And that was a highlight of his career, being there with his son and then seeing Steve come on and even travel from Geelong to continue that thread of being part of the Pomonee Cricket Club. He really enjoyed that. And Ken quite often came out and watched the young players play, and it's when he finished playing cricket. So, yeah, he did enjoy it.
Yeah. No, and it's been a while since you've been into these rooms, so what do you make of it now? That it looks a little bit different, probably?
It does, but look, it's amazing what you guys have done. To walk into the room tonight after not being here for a while, the warmth, the welcoming, and that's what Pomonee Cricket Club's all about, is the family atmosphere. And now the girls are playing, I'm going to have to come out and watch them. I think it'll be great. Yeah, so no, I'm very proud of you all that you've continued on and kept the club going like you have, and improving and buying the land. That's going to be a real boon. And and all the clubs, the teams rather, not the clubs, but all the teams that you've gathered. Amazing. I know Ken will be looking down tonight, my ears are burning and he'll be so pleased with everybody, and he's still here. He really is.
Yeah, absolutely. And the spirit you talked about, the family atmosphere and the welcome, and we try and bring that on because that's what it was like when we were kids with Ken and Brian and
Yes.
Ian and Jimmy and all those guys. So and their families and you guys as well. So
Yeah,
that's a big part of it. So we're happy to honour it.
yes, no, thank you.
Well, please put your hands together for Barb over here. And keep the applause going for our Premiership captain, Ken O'Neill. That's about it for the official part of the night, but please enjoy the catch-up. We would like to get a photo of the members of the 82-83 team all together, if we can. So, yeah, please come and do that straight away if we can, please, guys. But thanks for coming along. It's always great to celebrate these premierships and that fantastic win, the club's 17th premiership in 1982-83. Thanks for coming along. Go Bulls!